Let's talk about the Nightfall 25N, which falls right in the middle of the Nightfall lineup as far as length. This is honestly a great layout, kind of similar to the 27N in the back, but you get a full walk-through or pass-through bathroom leading up to that nice big bedroom. In the back here, we're going to have the gaucho sofas, again, very similarly to what they have in the 27. And essentially it makes up into a bed the same way. You take the huge table that we have, put it right on top, you can line up the Velcro so that table doesn't move, take the back cushions off each one of these sofas, put it on there, and that will create your bed. Something else I like about the gaucho sofas here is the fact that they do have both of these cushions so that when you sit down, you kind of are right where you want to be. It's very comfortable. You don't feel like you're sitting too far back, has like a nice angle to it. I think they did a really good job. And the legs are actually shockingly easy to set up compared to some of the other systems. In the back, you have a patio deck standard. I mean, party deck, patio deck, whatever you want to call it. This is great. This is why, the reason a lot of people get a toy hauler, and the fact it's standard's fantastic. 1,500 pound weight capacity. Now, if you need to load up your toys, you can drop that ramp down and it is 3,000 pounds. Speaking of toys, even though this one falls in the middle, technically, this has the largest garage in the lineup at 14.5 foot. But there's a caveat, as it's only on one side. The bathroom wall is kind of angled, so you lose about 1.5 feet on the other. So bear that in mind. But again, it is still a nice big garage. You also see the bug screen here, so you can get a nice breeze. And right up above me, super cool bed. They call this like a Tokyo style bed. It's very, very easy to use, to pull down. Now, I wouldn't do it from underneath it like I am. I'm just gonna do this for demonstration, but you can see you can pull it down quite easily. It's strut assisted, goes right back up, and you have kind of like the European style slats here. So who's ever sleeping on here actually has some support, which is something, again, we don't see very often in a drop down bed. Another thing, and I don't know if this is what it's supposed to be used for, but this is what I would use it for. This bar right back here, I think it's perfect for hanging up clothes, jackets, whatever you need to, kind of put it off to the side. I don't know, maybe you have swimsuits you need to hang up, let them dry out. That's a perfect spot for it. It's gonna go, right on like a rubber mat right here. It's easy cleanup. Speaking of the floor, you also see you have 5,000 pound D-rings, and those will be spread throughout the entire back section here in the garage. Right over here is the table. Again, this is mainly meant to go in between the two sofas, but they have this huge space, and I think this is a great spot for the table. If you bring a couple extra chairs, you can put them right here and just create additional seating space. And personally, this is kind of the view I want anyway, is out to my campsite while I'm having my breakfast, sipping on morning coffee. Or again, if you have a beautiful view out the back, you can drop that tailgate. But either way, I do like this setup, and I love that there's a huge window on the camp side. This does open as well if you need that cross ventilation, and you can see the window treatments are simple but effective. It's just going to be a manual roll here. Now, the kitchen in the 25N is going to be very similar to what we saw in the 21. You have the same thermoformed countertops, undermount sink there, 3-burner cooktop, great storage here. And then again, you have the air fryer up top and that 10 cubic foot, 12-volt fridge. But as I mentioned, I'm just a big fan of the fact that all of them are the same brand, because that's what I have in my house and that's what I want in an RV. So as we move up a little bit, we'll get to the bathroom in a second, but I just want to show you what I was talking about with the angle wall, right? So you have 12.5 foot of garage space to here, but like I said, I mean, a rough estimate, I'd have to measure, but you're probably 1.5 feet to where you're at on this side, so you're gonna be somewhere in between on the angle. Now, the width, just so you know, from kitchen to wall here is just under 77 inches. I think it's 76 7/8 or something like that. So we'll call it 77 inches there. And then your entertainment center is going to be located here, which is honestly a pretty good spot for it. You can see you have a spot in the wall for a TV backer there. I wouldn't have minded if it had a little bit bigger space. I understand you can't because of the bathroom, but you're going to be a little bit of a distance, most likely, to be watching it. So you may not be able to fit the biggest TV in there, but honestly, it's a very small thing, right? Definitely not a deal breaker by any stretch. You can see that you have your multimedia center right down below, as well as all of your controls, and then some additional storage space there too. Last thing I do want to touch on, solar prep. You can see this one does have the solar prep there. Of course, our vents that we have in any toy hauler, one up here, another one down there. But let's go take a look at the bathroom. This one has a walk-through bathroom, and I know it's very divisive, right? Divisive? Divisive. Divisive. Divides people. Yes. People either love it or they hate it. And I get it. Because if you're in here, the bedroom, as we'll see, doesn't have a door. So if you have guests in here, you're trapped in the bedroom until they're done, which is not the best setup or feeling. But what you get out of it is a lot more space in a smaller floor plan. And take a look at how much space I have in the bathroom. I mean, I can actually get changed in here, which you can't say for many RV bathrooms. So I'm definitely a big fan of that. Also, every Nightfall has a tankless water heater. So when we're in the shower, which as you will see, it is a very large shower, I have plenty of height here. I mean, I'm 6 foot tall and height is definitely not an issue. I can turn sideways. So not only can I fit in here, but I can actually enjoy my shower because of the on-demand water heater that this one comes equipped with. The toilet, as you can see, no issues there whatsoever as far as space. Great shoulder width, excellent space here for my knees. I have a big linen closet in this one as well, which is something that we generally don't see in any of the other Nightfall lines. It's a little bit smaller, but this particular floor plan has plenty of bathroom storage, including space underneath the vanity and the mirrored medicine cabinet. And the bedroom in the 25N is almost identical to the one in the 27N, and for good reason. It's a great layout. You have the camper queen, storage on both sides, both the mirrored wardrobe and in the back, storage across the top, plus the big wardrobe here. And once again, if you want TV, there's a spot to mount it right there. So let's talk construction on the Nightfall 25N. Starting off on the bottom, you have a fully enclosed, insulated, and heated underbelly. That, of course, is going to keep things a little bit warmer, hopefully keep rodents out, and it will also help keep out some road grime. Now, right on top of that is the BAL-NXG frame. I know that's a lot. BAL is the brand. It stands for Next Generation Frame. And for good reason. There's a lot of things on that frame that are definitely going to be advantageous. One, it's going to be CNC cut and huck bolted together, which means it's going to be essentially a more precise build. Also on top of that, it uses a high strength, low alloy steel, which when you look at it, essentially with your strength ratio in comparison to a higher carbon steel, it's going to have the same strength ratio and still be 20 to 30% lighter, plus it's going to be more chemically resistant, which means less chance for rust. So when we're looking at a frame, you know that this has an excellent foundation. Then coming up the side, this one has your standard build, so to speak, meaning that it has the aluminum exterior, which I personally really like the aluminum. I think it looks great. Also, it's very easy to replace if this ever gets damaged. But I think the big win for the Nightfall, at least for me, is what's behind this. Because behind that is a spray foam insulation, where most manufacturers have just like a rolled batten, like what you would have in your house. And in theory, that sounds great. The issue is that over time, in this going down the road, that fiberglass will start to shake down and you have dead spots up top. You have voids where you will have heat loss. You will start to have insulation issues. Plus, moisture can get in that wall and start to rot things out. But with spray foam, it's going to eliminate those voids. It's going to be resistant to that moisture, and it'll actually help strengthen everything because it helps connect all of these studs together. Then as we make our way even up further, all the way up to the top, this is a fully walkable roof with a Duraply TPO roof membrane. Now that TPO is going to have greater puncture and tear resistance than a lot of other membranes out there. Plus, it is going to be anti-mold, so it'll be mold resistant, which is huge. And on top of that, it's going to be extremely flexible and just overall a better roof compound with less maintenance. So when you're looking at overall construction, even though it's a standard build, I think the Nightfall definitely has some big advantages. As we take a look at the features on the outside of the Nightfall 25N, right up front is a power tongue jack, making it nice and easy to connect and disconnect from your tow vehicle. Coming around to the side is our large pass-through storage compartment. And as we make our way down a little bit further, we can see outside speakers here for entertainment. And on the other side of the entry door is actually hookup for a TV. Now the entry door itself is going to be tempered glass, which I personally love the look of. And it has a window built in that you can hardly see, which is kind of cool. But if you so choose, that one is prepped for a shade, so you can have that installed for a little bit additional privacy. Now, getting in and out of that door is super simple thanks to the friction hinge on the door, as well as the MORryde step above steps with aluminum treads. Those treads aren't going to rust, and you get the large foldable grab handle here just to give you a little extra control. Up top is the power awning that has a couple LED lights on there. Around back, we will have backup camera prep. And then on the other side of the camper is going to be our wet bay, where all of our water hookups, and you will see that it has all the valves for easy winterization. Folks, the 25N is a fantastic layout, but if you want something maybe a little bit bigger kitchen space and more storage, then you have to check out the Nightfall 27N, and I have it coming up next.